Chapter 68. Holiness, Omnipotence, Bridging the Gap. And Lamech replied to this instructive reply of the Lord, O Lord, you most best, Holy Father, if it was up to my understanding, there would be still many things to ask about this point. I am speaking for myself. But there are still Hanoch and my namesake from the heights. They have, O Holy Father, understood you certainly much better than myself, and therefore, should it become necessary, can explain the most vital to me at a later occasion. And as such I have recognized my unworthiness, O Lord, to speak in front of you, and therefore no longer dare to ask you about it. But not for the sake of your endless wisdom, but because you are holy, exceedingly holy. I initially did not feel it so much, but since I've been really deeply humiliated in myself by your wisdom, I suddenly became aware of your endless holiness, and I am pressed by its divine weight into the deepest and most darkest abyss. Here Lamech fell into a serious silence, for during the speech of the Lord, he began feeling and thus livingly recognized from the grounds of grounds what God is in his being, and what the created man is in his own being. And he thought by himself how man in all his parts so entirely depends on God, and with his own strength he is not even able to take one breath, let alone to create a clear idea in himself. And also became more aware of the fact that this same omnipotent, holy, eternal God is now at his side and talks to him. Therefore he became so much affected and humiliated that he dared not continue to talk. But the Lord soon recognized Lamech's embarrassment and said, Listen to me, my son Lamech. Can I help it that I am God forever, alive out of myself, and you a creature out of me? Is it possible to change this relationship? Can you become an everlasting God and I your creature? Behold, these are things that are even impossible for me. I, as little as you, will ever be able to reverse this order. Because if it would be possible that I could squirm down to be a pure creature, the moment when I lay down the eternal Godhead in order to hand it to you, the whole creation, including you, would perish down to the very last atom. But if this would happen, what would you have of such change, and what would be left for me then? You would be no longer there, and I would need to take up the deity again, and if I wanted to have beings around me, I had to create them anew and call you back into existence again, since I certainly wanted you to be at my side. But I mean that you now realize what is possible under the conditions of my eternal order, and what is impossible, and also will realize that I, as the eternally unchangeable God, surely do everything to get close to my creatures, and the children stemming from them, and to fill all chasms between me and them, so that they can interact with me as with their own kind, and can learn from me their eternal living destiny, in which then between me and them merely a moral difference should prevail, according to which they should become their complete own masters in me and at my side forever. If this is necessarily the case, I again cannot see why you are trembling before my divinity to such an extent that your tongue fails to serve you. Thus set aside that which does not suit the father and child relationship, but keep on conversing about whatever comes to your mind, so that you can see how very patient I, your father, always is. But now put your hand in mine, and feel how good and patient I am, and then speak as your tongue has grown. Amen.